Chicago rapper Lil Durk faces 3 new federal charges in connection to a deadly shooting in Los Angeles.
Lawyers for Chicago rapper Lil Durk say prosecutors do not have enough valid evidence to convict him in a murder-for-hire plot.
There is a way that he beats this case. The only thing putting him there.
With the recent indictment against Lil Durk and his OTF gang, more details have come out about the rapper's hit list. Many of you already know about the hits Durk allegedly ordered against Quando Rondo from the one at the filling station.
They were pumping gas, and it looks like they probably finished pumping gas, and the suspects approached from the alley.
To the one that ended up taking out Quando's cousin, Lil Pop.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage.
But trust me when I tell you it looks like that's not even the end of the hit list. I mean, you know that Durk and his OTF gang have been all up in every kind of beef imaginable with other rappers in Chicago and beyond. In Chicago alone, as a Black Disciples set, these guys are already beefing with many Gangsta Disciples affiliated sets like the STL EBT and their rappers like FBG Duck, whose death allegedly at their hands shocked the world.
Alleged members of Chicago's O Block gang have been convicted in the 2020 murder.
But apart from the ones already dead, we know there's been quite some threats against some rappers that are still alive. In Chicago and outside Chicago, take Quando Rondo for example. After being involved in the shooting of King Von, who was one of Lil Durk's closest friends, do you really think that Durk and his people would rest until Quando is totally out and cold? Would just killing his cousin be enough for them? Then there's NBA Youngboy himself. I'm sure he's not directly involved in the shooting, but these were his guys, and he's done nothing but support him since the shooting. Sounds like a hit list material to me. But don't just take our words for it. Take a look at that beef so far. It didn't start with gunfire, it started with words. It was a simple IG live session when King Von posted up in his car, vibing to a Youngboy track. Then, in the way only Von could, he called Cap on it. He ain't even like that, he said. And remember that Von was an artist signed to Durk's label, and not just that, he was like family to Lil Durk. So just like that, a fuse was lit. Nothing exploded immediately. There were no sneak disses, no threats. But the air was thick, like everyone knew what was coming. Then Von popped up with Youngboy's baby mama Jania. Was this a coincidence? Maybe, but Youngboy wasn't hearing that. He took to Instagram, slapping up a petty caption to diss King Von. Shots were already fired. They were just not the kind that made the news.
Stuff, man, come on now.
Oh, it's the internet, gang.
What y'all think?
You know, they try to make it like.
Then came the music. Youngboy dropped Dead Trolls, talking about sending someone fishing and pushing wigs back. Von acted unbothered, but everyone watching knew this wasn't just music anymore. And then, on November 6, 2020, King Von lost his life outside an Atlanta nightclub. It wasn't just another rap feud gone too far, it was personal. His death caught on camera sent shockwaves through the industry, and while the world saw it as another tragic loss in hip-hop's long history of violence, Durk, according to prosecutors, saw it as something else, a debt that needed to be paid in blood. Youngboy didn't pull the trigger, but his name might as well have been on the bullets, and Durk definitely took it personally. The music stopped being about hits and started being about hit lists. It got ugly fast. Youngboy dropped Bring the Hook, dissing Von, dissing O Block. Durk clapped back with "Aha," letting Youngboy know it was up. Then, just hours later, Youngboy escalated again with a diss track, I Hate Youngboy. No more subliminals. He was naming names. Durk, his dead homies, even his fiancée India. Now in 2024, things took a turn no one saw coming with the explosive accusation that Lil Durk orchestrated the murder-for-hire plot that led to the death of Quando Rondo's cousin, Saviaya Robinson, which is the hot topic for now. Prosecutors say that Durk put the plan in motion, with claims he didn't just want revenge, he was willing to pay for it. They say he offered money, career opportunities, and resources from his Only the Family, OTF collective to get the job done.
Rondo at a Los Angeles gas station, but Rondo's cousin was killed instead.
And it wasn't just talk. Investigators point to flight records showing OTF members traveling from Chicago to California, where they believe Quando Rondo was staying. The payments, they say, came from an account tied directly to Durk. And then there was the text message, an ominous warning. Don't book no flights under no names.
Accused in taking part in that murder for hire plot. Now, the plot targeted rapper Quando Rondo's cousin.
Then on August 19, 2022, in West Hollywood, California, the shooters spotted their target at a gas station.
And they assassinated Lil Pab at the gas station in West Hollywood.
The plan was set, but something went wrong. They opened fire. 18 rounds tore through the night, but Quando Rondo walked away unharmed. His cousin, Saviaya Robinson, wasn't so lucky though. The bullets meant for Rondo ended his life instead. Even though it's not proven, all evidence suggests that it's a cold-blooded murder, orchestrated by Durk from start to finish. Buddy isn't just fighting accusations of a botched hit. He's also facing allegations that he tried to flee. According to the FBI, on the day of his arrest, he had multiple international flights booked to Switzerland, the UAE, and even Italy. They say he was heading to the airport when the agents closed in. Apparently, they took him into custody before he could disappear. So does Lil Durk have an out here? Can he stand up in court, look the jury in the eye, and say he had nothing to do with this?
Before he was leaving the country. So talk to me about, real quick, do you think there's any avenue for him to say,
a Grammy award-winning rapper who has significant financial means to fight this case the whole way?
Can he claim his people acted alone, that this was a rogue mission he knew nothing about? On paper, maybe. In reality, that's a tightrope walk over a federal fire pit. Because here's the thing, there are messages, conversations, digital breadcrumbs that, according to prosecutors, show Durk wasn't just in the dark, he was making sure his name stayed in the dark. And that's a problem. Because when you're actively distancing yourself from something before it even happens, what does that say? That you had no idea? Or that you knew exactly what was coming?
is there any avenue for him to say, I don't know anything about this, this was them acting alone? Real quick, do you think there's any avenue for him to say, I'm not connected to this, I'm not part of this murder for hire plot?
This isn't street gossip, it is a federal case. Yet Durk is maintaining his innocence, pleading not guilty, and fighting back with a top-tier legal team.
Knowledge. So as long as you had any conversation with two or more,
a Grammy award-winning rapper who has significant financial means to fight this case the whole.
But it's not just about the Los Angeles case. No, this rabbit hole runs deeper, all the way back to Chicago. And that's where things get really interesting, because in 2023, an FBI special agent with the Chicago Homicide Task Force decided to pull a few threads. He applied for a search warrant and started digging through phone records, location data, literally anything that could map out the long-standing war between two rival gangs, the Smashville Gangster Disciples and the Mike City Black Disciples. And at the heart of it was a man named Stefan Mack. He was a leader, a target, and later a victim.
An FBI special agent with the Chicago Homicide Task Force applied for a search warrant for two rival gangs that are mentioned here are the Smashville Gangster Disciples, who was reportedly the leader.
In January 2022, outside a youth center in Chicago, a stolen Chrysler rolled into the parking lot, engine humming, sitting there for 40 minutes like a predator waiting for its prey. And when Mack finally stepped outside of the center, the car doors swung open, revealing two gunmen.
Back in 2022, prosecutors say Mack was outside the Youth Peace Center of Roseland.
Chaos erupted. Mack tried to run, but one of them chased him down and shot him with a bullet to the head. The two killers were men with alleged ties to OTF. However, a security guard witnessed the scene and he miraculously survived. The shooters then vanished, or at least they tried, because one of them ended up making a mistake. He left his cell phone behind in the getaway car. Rookie move. That phone turned out to be a gold mine. There were calls, texts, fingerprints, DNA, enough to trace the attack back to two men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell. They're both indicted now, locked into the justice system with no easy way out.
And the allegations from that case are that Lil Durk essentially offered money to...
And here's where Durk's name surfaces again. There's news from the FBI that there's a confidential informant, someone on the inside, someone who's been talking, and what they're saying is big. According to this FBI source, referred to only as CH1, Lil Durk isn't just a rapper. He's not just a guy with connections. They claim he's an active shot caller in the Black Disciples. And not just that. CH1 says Durk is still out here putting money on people's heads. Not just for revenge, not just for his brother's killers, but for any gangster disciple who gets caught in the crosshairs. There was even a group picture with Durk standing towards the back circled in red. Montgomery Wilson is right there on the left, hanging out, being seen, being documented. There's another photo too. This time it's Durk with the alleged leader of Mike City. That leader's name is redacted, but his presence in the file is definitely not erased. Then the internet went crazy saying investigators talked to employees at the youth center where Mac was murdered, and one of them had heard the number being passed around. Anywhere from $50,000 to $500,000 was supposedly on a table for someone to take out Mac. That's not street gossip, that's an open contract. And then there's Montgomery Wilson. On March 2nd, 2022, he updated his Facebook story with a photo of himself, stacks of cash in his hands. The song playing in the background was Lil Durk's Ah Ah Ha. The message was clear. The feds believe he wasn't just flexing, he was bragging, he was marking the moment, he was celebrating getting paid. According to all these details revealed in court, federal investigators claim Durk played a role in orchestrating Mac's death. But here's the catch. As of right now, he hasn't been charged in Mac's murder. Not officially, not yet. But what does this mean for his case out in California? Because if the feds are stacking evidence like this in Chicago, if they're building a pattern, drawing connections, painting a picture of a man who moves in the shadows, then the question isn't just whether he could be charged. The question is, when?
Away from where I'm sitting right now in downtown Los Angeles. And like you said, the feds don't mess around.
The prosecution already pointed to this alleged connection as part of their argument against granting Lil Durk bail, asserting that it reinforced concerns about Durk being a flight risk.
So that Lil Durk essentially offered money to take out whoever was responsible for killing his brother. Already been 2 people charged with his death, and I don't think it's been determined yet whether...
The defense, on the other hand, has pushed back against what they describe as speculative and unverified allegations, arguing that Durk's continued detention is built on circumstantial assertions rather than concrete legal action. This development has sparked further discussion in both legal and public spheres as fans, critics, and industry figures weigh in on the potential ramifications. Some legal experts suggest that the unsealing of these court documents indicates a wider federal interest in Durk's alleged connections to organized activities. Though without formal charges, it remains unclear whether this claim will evolve into a prosecutable case. Others point to the prosecution's decision to use this information in a bail hearing rather than in an indictment as an indication that authorities may still be working to substantiate the claim with more direct evidence. While rumors of this alleged second murder-for-hire plot have circulated in legal discussions and online reports, they remain just that, rumors. The legal proceedings surrounding Durk continue to unfold. And with no official charges related to Mac's death, the weight of these allegations rests in their potential rather than their present legal standing. As of now, the claims remain part of ongoing investigations, shaping the public narrative around Durk's legal troubles, but not yet materializing into formal prosecution. If the allegations are true, this isn't just about rap beef. It is an organized criminal enterprise operating under the guise of a music label. And that's exactly what the racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations, RICO laws, were designed to dismantle. If there's even a single text, a single intercepted call, a single moment where Durk gives the go-ahead, then this isn't just about his current case in LA. This is about something much, much bigger. And then there's FBG Duck, another name, another tragedy. His family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit claiming that Lil Durk, King Von's estate, and others had a hand in his 2020 murder. The lawsuit doesn't accuse Durk of pulling the trigger, but it alleges he benefited from the circumstances. It's a civil matter, but one that further fuels the narrative that Durk is more than just a rapper. He's an orchestrator of violence. You might start to wonder, why is there always one crime or the other bugging the celebrity? Lil Durk was indeed raised in an environment plagued by high crime and gang violence. Even his father, Dante Banks, was heavily involved in the streets and became the primary organizer of a coke conspiracy operating in Chicago from 1991 through 1993. He was arrested when Durk was just 7 months old, leading to a life sentence that was later reduced due to changes in the law. Because he grew up without his father, Durk turned to the streets at the age of 11, engaging in drug dealing and confrontations with rival gang members, resulting in the loss of many close friends. Living in a small Chicago home with over 10 people, he also sought a different path to support his family and make a name for himself. That's why he began rapping at 17, releasing his first song in 2010 titled Lamron Wasted. He had some initial challenges with finding his sound, but he remained consistent, collaborating with Lil Reese on L's Anthem the same year, which gained traction in their hometown. Durk was closely associated with Chief Keef's GBE movement at the time, but he branched off to establish his own collective, Only the Family, OTF. In March 2011, Durk released Imahita, a track that garnered significant attention for its innovative use of auto-tune in the drill scene. However, in October 2011, he faced legal troubles when he was arrested on a weapons charge, leading to a 3-month incarceration. Upon his release, motivated by the birth of his child, he focused on his music career, releasing his debut mixtape, I'm Still a Hitter, in April 2012, followed by Life Ain't No Joke in October 2012. These projects significantly boosted his profile, leading to a deal with Def Jam Recordings and the release of his hit single, This Ain't What You Want. Despite his rising fame, legal issues persisted. In June 2013, Durk was arrested again on a weapons charge after allegedly throwing a loaded .40 caliber handgun into his car when approached by police. He was charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon, but was released in July 2013 after his lawyer presented affidavits asserting his innocence. Durk continued to release music prolifically, with mixtapes like Signed to the Streets and his sequel solidifying his place in the rap scene. In 2015, he released his debut studio album Remember My Name, followed by Lil Durk 2X in 2016. After parting ways with Def Jam in 2018, he released Just Cause Y'all Waited independently, showcasing his resilience and adaptability in the industry. In May 2019, Durk and King Von were arrested on charges related to a shooting in Atlanta. Prosecutors alleged that the two men robbed and shot a man outside a popular Atlanta drive-in for a Jeep Cherokee and $30,000. After weeks in jail, both were released on bond. In October 2022, the charges against Durk were dismissed. Tragically, Durk has lost several close associates to street violence, including L.A. Capone in 2013, OTF Nunu in 2014, and King Von in 2020, whose death was discussed earlier. Despite these personal losses, his career reached new heights with a feature on Drake's 2020 hit single, Laugh Now Cry Later, which peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and received Grammy nominations. Throughout his journey, Lil Durk has fathered 6 children with multiple partners. A source on Reddit even claimed that his 10-year-old son already has bodies to his name, claiming the son shot his mother's boyfriend who was wrestling with her over a gun. However, there's no credible evidence or verified report supporting this allegation. No police statements, no news coverage, nothing substantial to back up such a serious claim. Still, it seems that while Lil Durk and his family have left the hood has yet to leave them, because there are still more murder-for-hire allegations. Rumors have been circulating about the death of Octavia, OTF Jam's baby mama. Her name was Michelle A. Williams. She was a postal worker and a 28-year-old mother of 3. She was shot dead.
That's right, Scott, and this is truly heartbreaking for this family. In fact, the family telling me
this is not something that's just finna get brushed under the rug and not be solved. They need to find out.
Octavia was found in Orland Park, slumped outside a car, with the headlights still on and doors open like a crime scene out of a movie. Nearly 30 bullet casings littered the pavement. Whoever did this, it wasn't accidental. They came to finish the job. And now her family is left asking the question that haunts every murder like a shadow. Why? Was she the target, a casualty, or something more? Online, the whispers are getting louder. Some people think it's connected to Jams. Durk's guy, who is OTF affiliated, allegedly cooperating. Lots of fans think that it's a retaliation move, a warning. But let's slow down for a second. At this moment, there's nothing solid tying Octavia's murder to Jams, to Durk, to anything other than the cold, violent randomness of Chicago's streets. Sometimes these things are connected. Sometimes they're just brutal, tragic coincidences. And we've seen this before. Go back to 2022. Leah Jackson, mother of Young Thug's child, shot outside a bowling alley. Thug and YFN were locked in a wall. People started connecting dots.
Family members say the mother was simply celebrating the birthday of one of her close friends.
Was it a hit? A message? It turns out that it started over a bowling ball. A bowling ball. But in a world where gang ties stretch like spiderwebs, where beefs run deeper than music, it was easy to believe there was more to the story. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't, but speculation isn't evidence. This is the problem. The internet moves fast. It wants answers now. It wants theories. And yes, sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. So is this murder connected to Durk's legal troubles? To OTF, to jams? Right now, we don't know. Social media theories have been running wild, but as of now, there's no solid evidence linking Durk to her passing. Still, in a climate where every move is scrutinized, nothing goes unnoticed. Now, with law enforcement intensifying its crackdown on street-affiliated rappers, some are wondering, could Durk be the next major name to fall under a sweeping RICO indictment? His music tells stories of struggle, survival, and street justice. But according to prosecutors, it might not just be storytelling, it might be a confession. So what happens next? Will Durk beat these allegations and walk away unscathed? Or is he facing a future where his only audience is a courtroom? The crazy hit list of Lil Durk keeps growing, and so does the pressure from the feds. One thing's for sure, the streets are watching, and so is the law.